Thank you guys for joining me. Terito reunion. What up, what
Mm.
up? And I think it's really cool that you guys have been able to carry on, not only a beautiful friendship, but into something that is more impactful and meaningful, like the new series that you guys have got coming out, Polly, Will, and Grace. So, firstly, I'll chuck it to you, Grace. If you could please just give us a quick rundown, quick little intro on who Will and Grace are.
Oh gosh, I've did talking. Will and Grace kind of derived from the TV series Will and Grace. I don't know if you've seen it. And so during Te Rito, we were like, hey, your name's Will and I'm Grace. And we're Polly, so we should kind of own it and be like Polly, Will and Grace. And every day, every morning, every day after work as well, Will and I would have these deep and meaningful conversations that no one would ever know of. And so part of those conversations, we were like thinking, hey, this could be turned into something, you know? And so we thought, okay, well, people just see Will for who he is, having this disability, but behind Will, there's like a facet of different different walls, you know, and family and friend kind of come into play and how he has this disability and he wants people to see more than just a disability. But I'm sure Will can kind of add to that, Will.
Yeah, yeah, we is how many people ask was yeah.
Will and I originally wanted to do a podcast about his story inspired by our car rides, but over time the idea grew into something bigger, something that reflected the daily lives of our Pacific disabled communities. We wanted to kind of show the barriers we faced in government systems, workplaces, but also highlighting the fun stuff like the roast sessions Will and I had and also with his family, the goofy little moments and all the realness that makes, our lives relatable and full of heart. That was from Will, yeah.
Also, Will, I see that you conveniently leave out your Samoan and your Fiji heritage. So he's Mateba Tonga, but he's also Samoan.
And Fijian.
And apparently he's Ngāpuhi too. So this fella's just got connections everywhere. Maybe I'll come to you, Will. And why was it so important to, have these types of stories highlighted, especially in today's world?
Yeah, so he kind of just talked about again what I touched on, how we originally wanted to do a podcast about his story. But these stories are just scratching the surface, Will says, of our rich Pacific heritage and disabled community. They're like, I guess the more we are, or the more that he shared his stories and the more they were told by him and by Pacific, the better the world would understand them, especially his late papa, who he looked up to. He used to say to Will, aluki tu apea ke, please Will forgive me, hoko ko koe, which means go out and be yourself. And he wants the series to kind of reflect who he really is, who the Pacific disabled community really are, not some version shaped by the mainstream, but something authentic and grounded in truth.
I like that Will's just like nodding. She's
He's
she's
probably
gone.
nodding and it's like, she's wrong. She said the wrong thing. Sometimes.
Pronunciation. What was pronunciation? That was on it. That was good. Oh, that's beautiful. And I think something that's really like highlighted. I know that today is when this the first episode will drop, and it does spotlight your whānau as well, Will, and you do mention your papa, and you've got your nana there as well, part of the story. How special was it for you to do this project with your family?
His papa has always been an important part of his life and growing up. He passed away when Will was quite young. And so part of that journey for Will was trying to put not only his grandparents, but his family up on a pedestal to give back to them. Kind of like the island way, what we all do, way, Will. Is that what you're trying to say?
That's so beautiful. That's really special, and I think you can really see that, and I hope audiences will feel that too. I'll come to you, Grace. What is something that you've learned, with through your friendship with Will, and also doing Polly, Will, and Grace that able-bodied people need to be more aware of? That often they get wrong, they misinterpret, they just, feel a bit uncomfortable about when engaging with people from disabled communities, especially like, someone like Will who is nonverbal. What's something that you think that we need to be more aware of?
That's a great question, actually, because when I came to know Will, we just connected and clicked on day one. And I think it's because of my own role as a mother. I'm quite nurturing and stuff like that. And so when I got to meet Will, we got connected, we got talking. And then from that day, it was like, hey, I'll just pick you up. And so our first car ride was kind of awkward, but we got over that hurdle. And one thing I learned with Will was I was quite afraid of hurting his feelings or like I wanted to speak for him. And that's one thing I've learned from Will is that disabled people don't want to be, they don't want you to speak on their behalf. They want to be heard. Where so Will would just tell me, straight up and be like, oh, hey, sis, I think it should be this way or another way. They want to be heard. They don't want to be treated like little kids or like they're unable to do things. And also the banter. Will takes on banter. If you've met his family and his friends, his circle of friends. Will is, he's real good with the banter. So it's just treating them normally, really, and so that they feel connected and also part of the circle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true though, because if you do know Will and spend like 5 minutes with him, he's already trying to mock you about something.
Yeah. You know,
And you just see it's a look in your eye, Will.
he looks bad.
You don't look bad,
If
but
anything, we look bad when we're mocking him, really.
I
So,
reckon, yeah, see, because then we can't really give it back to you, Will, because the prying eyes of the world, judgment.
yes.
But for you, Will, I guess, from your standpoint as well, it's great to get someone like Grace's point of view. What about for you? What is it something that you wish able-bodied people were more aware of or just more conscious of?
Yes, Will wants the world to know that, they're just human beings as well before anything else. Being outside the mainstream media spotlight, he's noticed that, disabled people are often viewed as like inspiring but most of the time they're just people trying to live their own lives. He wants people to treat them like individuals, be kind and be understanding. That's all he ever asks for.
Basic human decency, eh? Pretty much. There was a question that was put to me by somebody, and
Yeah.
they asked me like, how are you able to make out what Will says? It's people who have like a
Like for me, you can pick up like certain words when Will rambles, if he says like say we're talking about something in the topic and he says one word you can pick up and then you can kind of make out what he's saying from there. But yeah, like Will says it's his own language, eh, Will? Yeah, I guess when you're around Will as well, more and more, you kind of understand him more. I think everyone in our class at Tirito as well, like in the first few weeks, couldn't understand Will, and I think by the end of it, everyone was like, "Yeah, that's what he's saying."
You guys aren't new to being behind the scenes of things as storytellers, as journalists. So, what was something about this project that you learnt being on the production side, having to actually be the creative drivers for it? Some big takeaways from you guys. We'll come to you first, Grace.
Work with your friends. Um, some big, yeah, that's a good one actually. Like, with any idea, make sure you go into it well prepared. I think for this one, I will like an idea that we had. We kind of just ran with it without kind of planning properly. But it was good because, with anything unplanned, you need to learn from it, and then from there you grow. And as producers now, I think for the next production, if Will and I take on season two, we've learned from this production and can go forward, learning more and heaps. So yeah.
Will, would you work with Grace again?
Yeah. Yeah.
He said yes, anything for Mama G. He calls me Mama G. I think it's like a nickname I've inherited since Teddy Torso.
And what about yourself, Will? I mean, you're a bit of a a gun on editing. Like,
Mm.
how was it for you being behind the scenes on a project like this?
Um, it,
He said he's learned a lot, especially from like the beginning to the end, pre-production to post-production and to filming. So he's grateful for the opportunities, especially with his team. We had Josie and Tristan, who were quite young as well, learning, and so it was really good to be amongst a group of youth who had one vision and all were there to kind of learn and be on the same journey with us. So yeah. Well, did I get that right or?
yeah, yeah,
Who was always late to set?
Oh, not us, eh?
yeah.
A producing team. No. Yeah, nah, set was real tiring too away. Like there'll be days where we had a full shoot day. So it was coming prepared, changing clothes, changing the outfits like 4 times and then reshooting it again. So yeah, it was a great experience, I reckon.
Applying for the funding and things like that as well. Like, how was that process? It's kind of scary. Some people think
It
that it's a,
is, yeah. You think, well, oh right, yeah. You know what? So we'll share a story with you. During Te Rito, right? NZ on Air have a funding round like I think every year or so. And so I think it was the non-scripted, I can't remember, but Will and I put in a funding pitch. And this is our first ever funding pitch. We didn't even know how to write a funding pitch. So we put it in and we got declined. But that we put it in the very day that it was closing and they needed like I think a 30-second relay. So after work we rushed home to Will's house and poor mum Lon, was like, oh my gosh, we've got to clean up the lounge. And so we used you'll see it in the podcast series. We used Will's lounge with the tapa and we sent it in that very day. So we used it again for this pitch and we were quite surprised that we got it. We're like, oh sweet. Well that worked. So yeah, it's again being prepared and doing your homework and research, look up, other pictures and
I honestly appreciate you guys chatting about this. All the best
thank
for the
you.
for future endeavors to come. And we fail and we fly. It's all good. Lastly, what impact are you hoping that the series Polly, Will, and Grace will have? Will?
I eat about a big bug. I eat one about all eating. Eat
From what Will was saying was during the whole, production, he kept saying like it wasn't about the impact. For him, it was more about the connection. And he hopes that the content helps, other Pacific disabled community out there to see themselves reflected in the world and, feel less alone so that when they see Will, they feel like they're at home and it's normal. And he wants his families in the wider Pacific community to see that having a disability is something that should bring everyone together, something that people can support and celebrate, not hide or feel ashamed about. Especially like I'm adding my own 5 cents here, like, when someone is born with a disability, straight away, for example, in the Pacific community, it's like, oh, well, what did your parents do wrong? Or like, oh, you're cursed. And so it's just breaking down the barriers and breaking down that stigma that having a disability is not because you were cursed or, your parents did something wrong. So, yeah.
Oh, guys, and I'll come to you, Grace, for last words. Where can people watch with Polly, Will, and Grace? How often are we going to see the episodes drop? Give us all those details, please.
The first episode will be dropping today on Friday on all CPL platforms, Centre for Pacific Languages, YouTube, Facebook. You can also find it on Pacific Media Network, 531 PI, as well as the Ministry for Pacific Peoples. And we've got 4 episodes. One episode will be dropping per week, the second one next week, Friday, and then the third the following Friday, and so forth. And then all episodes will be dropping just in time for Tongan Language Week to celebrate our lovely brother Will's heritage. MMT.